Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello, all.
Okay, so this is our Terror of the Zygons review.
A.K.A.
The Loch Ness Monster from Terrence Dicks. Look at that book.
Yep.
But the episode was written by someone else, though.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the pinnacle books that were put out, which was put out a few years ago. It's a series of 10 books based on the third and fourth Doctors.
What was that, an adaptation? They did an adaptation of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Now, how many books you said? 10?
Yeah, there was a series of 10 books. There was that one. Let's see. Mask of the Mandragora. Okay, let me pull this up. I got it already pulled up here. Let me go to my page here. There's Doctor Who. Okay. Okay. This is the books from 1 through 10, done by Pinnacle.
Okay.
Third Doctor was Day of the Daleks and the Doomsday Weapon, a.k.a. Colony in Space. Then we also had the Dinosaur Invasion.
The books. Yeah.
The Dinosaur Invasion. The Genesis of the Daleks, which we've done. Revenge of the Cybermen, which we've done.
Right.
Then the Loch Ness Monster that we're just about to do. The Talons of Wang Chiang. The Mask of the Mandragora. The Android Invasion. And then the final and the 10th book in this Pinnacle book, Pinnacle line was The Seeds of Doom.
Right. Well, again, we're going to do this one tonight. I don't know when the next review is going to be, so I don't want everybody to jump to conclusions.
No,
yes, we have popped them out. But no, that's great. The books are great, though, actually. I'm going to show them off in another cast, too. So the Terror of the Zygons, basically, we know from the last episode with Revenge of the Cybermen that the Doctor was called back to Earth from the Brigadier. It turns out that this big station thing in the water was destroyed, which couldn't have been possible.
No.
By some type, and they didn't know what it was at the time, but it was the Loch Ness Monster. It was the monster, and he was part cyborg and all that.
Yeah, I forget the name they called it off the top of my head. But.
Yeah, and what happened was there was stuff going on with the oil that the Zygons had crash land so long ago, and they've been trying to take over the world so that way they can make it habitable for their people, that their planet was destroyed in a catastrophe. And it would take hundreds of years for the Zygons to reach Earth. So phase 1 of the plans, they succeeded. And they not only destroyed that main base, they destroyed another one. The Doctor shows up, they park the TARDIS, and he's all dressed Scottish. And he has a different scarf on, he has the hat thing on. Harry's wearing his scarf. Sarah's wearing his hat. And they come across the Duke, which we learn is not really the Duke. It's a Zygon in disguise.
It's Zygon.
Because he was kind of like robotic. He was kind of like whatever. And the unit had to rent this place where the guy was blasting the freaking bagpipes.
All the time. Yep.
And the guy supposedly was like kind of psychic or something. And meanwhile, we find out that the Zygons bugged the crap out of that place. But you didn't have to deal with that. And then
if I remember right, Sarah found one of the bugs inside the eye of a.
Well, she didn't find it. Benton's the one that he thought he saw something, and then he got pulled away.
Yeah.
The Zygons saw that, and they came and they took the thing. But anyway, before that happened,
a deer head,
we got to see the.
I couldn't know if it was Sarah or Benton. So
we got to see the Brigadier in a kilt, which was funny.
Oh, God. Because he said basically. Lithbrick Stewart is Scottish in a way.
Yes. They also found a device that when the guy washed up ashore, there was a device that the Zygons desperately needed. And you find out that the gamesman, or the guy that was shooting, was also a Zygon. And he shot, the guy was trying to give a message to Harry, and then he shot Harry, grazed him in the skull, kind of injured him. Then they brought Harry into the hospital, and the nurse was even robotic too, and you found out she was a Zygon also. And they left Sarah with Harry, and lo and behold, she was saying that he was trying to say something, but, he passed out. And then the nurse, she was, all of a sudden she gets attacked by a Zygon. She's screaming. The doctor, tries to get to her, and they abduct Harry, and they also abduct Sarah. And then the doctor, finds out that she's in this compression chamber. And something new, well, not new. I mean, back then it was different. The doctor did some different stuff. And that is that they ran out of air. So what he did was he had to, do some type of hypnosis to make her body believe that she didn't need to breathe. And also
suspended animation in a way,
like a trance. And then he did some type of Tibetan monk ritual where he started moaning, that weird moan, and he basically was putting himself in a trance so that way he didn't need to breathe either. Because yes, the doctor does need to breathe a little bit compared to, he's an alien, but he curls the breath for a long time.
2 hearts, a 60-degree body temp, and either 3 or 4 breaths a minute. So
so he does need to breathe. So he put himself into a trance, and so Sergeant
real quick, contrary to what they've been saying, he's Gallifreyan. In a way, Time Lords is just a sect of Gallifreyans. So
yeah. And Sergeant Benson freed him. He came out of his trance. He woke Sarah up from her trance. Harry wakes up and finds out about the Zygons and what their plans are. They basically create a pattern of him to go back and get that device. When Sarah stumbles upon him, he pushes her into the friggin' wall. And then she immediately runs after him. Then she runs back. She gets the unit guys. They run after him. She sees he runs up. She hears a noise. He goes up this ladder and a thing. He's trying to kill her with a pitchfork. And Sarah, basically gets him. He falls off. And the Zygon gets stabbed or something. Mm-hmm. And then she finds out it's a Zygon. The Zygon basically, they disintegrated the body because they didn't want no trace of the body. Lo and behold, moral of the story is they've been using the half Loch Ness, half cyborg creature to try to, and they also had a spaceship under the water. They even knocked out the Brigadier. They knocked out Unit. The Doctor had to help out. There you go.
I did have a little gizmo to him, but I don't know whatever happened to it.
Yeah, we got the eventually they got to the guy that had a second sight because he realized after Benton that the eye was moving, and then they killed him. Then they're going after the Zygon. The nurse was getting shot, but then we learned basically that Duke, the nurse, but before that, Sarah and Harry gets away eventually, due thanks to Sarah, but they find out that the Duke, all that, they're all part of the same thing. They're trying to take over the Earth. Yeah. Basically, what they want to do is they want to make the Earth habitable. So they want to So after they do phase 1, there's so many different phases. Then they're gonna melt the polar ice caps. They're gonna deposit minerals in there. They're gonna make it The one thing I want to point out about this episode that because I haven't seen this in years. If you pay attention, and I really want to do this type of edit. I'm not good with editing, but I would love for someone to help me out with this. I could see there's the scene where the Doctor is messing up the buttons to self-destruct.
Yeah.
That is Family of Blood. They took that from Terror of the Zygons because he's messing up the thing. The ship is going to blow up. They show you running from the ship. So that whole scene they definitely took for Family of Blood. If you remember Human Nature and Family of Blood, because that scene is kind of repeated in Family of Blood. Maybe it's like a homage to the Terror of the Zygons. Also, take note that the Brigadier says "Great Scott" in this episode, which later on, of course, Dr. Brown in Back to the Future always says "Great Scott." And it was just amazing how. I mean, of course, back then the creature, the special effects were
they were great for the time.
The funny thing is, when the Zygons kidnapped the Doctor, they still didn't know he was an alien, which is crazy. And then they thought he died, but he was also he didn't. He basically tried to get the signal off the Brigadier. First the Brigadier was waking up the spaceship trying to.
And that telegraph thing, which they used which the Brigadier used to contact the Doctor, was once again reused in the special with Tennant, Smith, and Hurt, if you remember right.
Okay.
The one.
Oh, that's what Kate Stewart, you mean?
Yeah.
Used? Okay. So again, this episode.
We're trying to, yeah.
So then Harry, I guess, you know, Sarah and the Doctor went to TARDIS to go head to London, because they said he could never just get that quick to, you know, like I guess he could have flooded TARDIS to figure out how to get that. Later on, of course, he's best and the master of he's the best at controlling the TARDIS to get pinpoint accuracy. But back then, he was just like, yeah, I'll arrive 4 hours later, and then he winds up different planets and stuff. So yeah, we got to see that. It was a good episode. The interesting characters, like the real Duke was a cool character, but the other one was, and they wound up like defeating the Zygons. They all died.
Yeah. And
the last Zygon died. The Brigadier shot him because he was going to kill the Doctor, and he killed one of his men. The Brigadier's like, they were like shoot him at her, like, yo, you're dead. It was great.
5 rounds. Didn't state the comment 5 rounds rapid, but nonetheless. The Brigadier is pretty much shoot first, don't ask questions later.
It's funny though, like certain scenes, like the Doctor made a clay mold and found out there was teeth marks, so it was a big creature they were dealing with. But every time it's like, and it's like the Brigadier trying to explain to like the big wigs what's going on. Like even to someone, it's ridiculous.
That was so good about UNIT back then when they wrote it. They wrote UNIT with teeth. They actually wrote UNIT as though. Yes, they had the Doctor as their scientific advisor, but at the same time, if he wasn't there, it wasn't one of those, well, we don't even know how to flip a light switch.
Right, and the thing is that they trusted the Brigadier so much that he could say that this purple elephant's flying, and they said, oh, the Doctor's there? Okay, this purple elephant's flying. Like, they would flat out, the most ridiculous things, they would believe him because they know that when the Doctor's involved, they've seen so much stuff already. So it's funny how the Brigadier's trying to explain it to the Duke, but we found out it was a fake Duke. He's like, yeah, there's a sea-monster. Like, it's just terrible.
The Duke's looking at it like, you are drinking something, right?
Yeah, but it was actually, the guy was actually a Zygon.
Yeah.
Poor Sarah, though. She always gets, like, shoved around and thrown. But then you could see her running, and it was like, oh, my God, she's, like, running everywhere. I mean, you know. The Doctor, too, he's constantly getting hurt, electrified, and choked out by the Zygons. Immediately, when he heard that Harry was shot, he was really concerned. I mean, they ran over. Even with Sarah, when he heard that Sarah screaming, he was immediately, you know, he does care. And it's just like he has a weird way of showing it. But he's all about, you know, he joked around, like, what do you want? Why are you bothering me? But then he is concerned that he went to, you know, want to help out. But I always liked when the Doctor and Brigadier together and UNIT together. I mean, when they do it right, it's great. When they do it today, it's garbage because
today they got UNIT set up to where it's like they don't even know which way is up without the assistance of the Doctor.
I mean, they should have. So why can't they have Sergeant Benton in the new episode?
Yeah,
with Kate Stewart and some of the older like members, like that really bothers me.
That's what I really wish they could have done. That's one of the things I wish they would do is up until, I mean, of course, past the 50th anniversary. Yeah. But what I really wish they could have done is take all companions, villains, and monsters, take 2 out of those 3, stick them in a season.
Yeah.
Either as a cameo or a full-fledged adventure, and then by the time the 50th rolled around, all the new fans would understand what the draw was for us old fans.
See, the way the Zygons looked in this episode, because this is where they first appeared, they looked fantastic because of lighting and everything. When Moffat tried to bring the Zygons into the new thing, they looked horrible and they looked fake and they looked disgusting and stupid and bloated, but they actually looked like genuinely like they tend to love and care to build those suits.
Those practical effect thing that actually worked.
The way they're done today is no good. Like, they just, no budget. I mean, I know they didn't have a budget back then, but they took pride in their work to make it look not ridiculous, even though it was a ridiculous looking alien.
A man in a rubber suit.
It didn't look.
Care.
But how does it look more fake today,
yeah,
Zygon, than back then? That's why when we saw them in the 50th, I'm like, why do they look like crap? Like totally. And then we've seen the Zygon invasion. They made them look so horrible. I mean, so light colored. Like they weren't even. You know what I'm saying? Like they were too bright. And they looked like they were fat. What do you do? Then they were tall too. They weren't like small. You know? I don't know. I just like the way it looks in the classic series better with the Zygons. I mean, so
yeah, I did too. I mean, they got the like I said, with the practical effects they used, they managed to pinpoint it perfectly. And it's just there's sometimes CGI will work, but other times you do have to go with the practical effects.
Yeah. And we do need a Brigadier. I mean,
yes.
Kate Stewart, the way he's screaming at her all the time.
She's weak.
She's so weak. He's screaming at her. He's making like she's an idiot.
And for somebody who's supposed to have been raised from a military background, it's just hard and disheartening to see somebody just written as a weak character.
They should just have everything she went through that, basically she gives up the position, and then maybe like Sergeant Benton's the Brigadier Benton or something or whatever. I mean, or people in the past. I mean, it's just, I'd rather see original unit members mixed with the new guys.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, it's like, and then have all these women there. It makes no sense. Even the women, it was like, remember how they had like Kate Stewart and Osgood, then another female thing, then another female. It's all female. It's like, relax a little bit with the. I know you're trying to do an agenda, but like this is unit, and there's got to be some guys in there that's in charge too. It's like ridiculous. So
dumbing down. They were dumbing down unit.
Now they do it.
I mean, it didn't matter what it was.
It used to be when you saw unit, it was great. Now when we
dumbing down unit to increase the Doctor's importance.
When we saw it back in the past,
the original series.
When we saw it in the past, we wanted to see the Brigadier. We wanted to see all of them. When we hear that units appear now, it's like, oh, we get that are they going to be in it? Because they don't do it right. Like Moffat didn't do it right.
No.
And it's like, oh, what are they going to do? They're just going to be there. Remember how like they made unit look like such garbage that that the whole unit was going to be done after like 50, like all these years that unit's been around. They were going to be finished by the freaking crappy Zygons. I'm like, come on. The whole thing got wiped out.
And the officer that stood there looked at his mother.
Come on.
He was a Zygon.
And the Capaldi didn't have dialogue. Capaldi was there. He didn't even have really dialogue. It was like, why isn't he talking? Yeah. Why isn't he trying to, like, too much? It was just, but anyway, getting back to the classic series.
Yeah.
When you saw the Brigadier, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Brigadier, Benton, Mike Yates, even when he was there.
Basically, they called it.
Yeah. I liked it when they would do it. And then they tried to do it like Brigadier Bambera when it was Battlefield. Remember that? But even then, it was still great with, he was older, but it was still great with the Brigadier.
And the fact that Jane Marsh, who played the mythical
Morgan Le Fay
had respect for the Brigadier.
Yes.
If you looked at that,
everybody respected it, even the creature.
Yeah,
like from Battlefield. But like again, getting back to the Terror of the Zygons, they were so much better done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you hate the Zygons today, go back and watch Terror of the Zygons. You will love it.
Mm-hmm.
Compare it to the new stuff because they look really like they scared the crap out of you when they jumped at. You never saw what they looked like until they jumped Sarah. Like instant, I was like, holy crap! I mean, you got to see the eyeballs and everything, but they still were done. But they didn't look like idiots. They were like they weren't fat. Remember, how they looked. They were like tall and they were like oddly shaped, but they weren't like they didn't have like a belly. Like they try to make it look like the Absorber look. Like it's like in the present time. So
that's what I was thinking.
So we need to redesign the Zygons and we need justice for the Zygons. So, all right. So again, Terror of the Zygons, great episode.
Good episode. Yep.
Take care. Bye for now.